Okay, so now we will start the official part of the meeting. So introducing myself, I am Hasmukh Sapnawala, and I have set up this place called Sapnaranch, which is in the middle of nowhere. That was the goal. Prior to coming here, I was a scientist. I was abroad for 20 years and have worked on some of the most fascinating technologies, like the world's first internet bank, video on demand set-top box that you see on your television, smart cards, and so on. And going forward, Ash, I see you come in, but we'll just continue. We'll do the whoever has joined later, we'll do the introductions towards the end. However, what I noticed was my passion was always nature and children, these two things. So about 15 years ago, I have moved back to India and decided to set up a learning environment for children in the forest, which I'm very, very passionate about, and something that I had not done before. I used to go camping and so on, but this thing has been simply out of this world. And so I set up a trust called ABLE Trust, EPHLE, Experience-Based Holistic Learning Environment. So all learning happens through experience. And also, the important thing is that children will also learn through experience. And that has come from my personal experience, where being a scientist, I used to work on technology that took at least 10 years to get into the university, forget school. And I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that true learning happens through research. And that is what I'm passionately trying to set up. It's hard because most of the society does not accept this, not understand this. But I'm keeping at it. I moved to Sapnaranch 12 years ago. January 26, 2010 was when I moved here. And since then, the journey has just been progressing in various phases. And today's session has come out from a sponsorship by a nice foundation called Zemyna Foundation. And Namrata Arora from there has been passionate about supporting Apple in whatever capacity she can. So I thank her for her support. And this will be the first in that series of discussions on holistic healing. So today what I'm going to share is the healing that I have received from my 12 years and continuing stay at Sapnaranch. And those are learnings with nature. In this holistic healing series, we'll have other talks. So today mine is the first. That's an experiment, and based on the feedback that you provide, we will tweak the ongoing talks in future. After this, there will be talks by Dr. Atul Abhyankar. He's a homeopath, a very well-known homeopath. Then it will be his wife, Dr. Aarti Supekar. She is a doctor in Ayurveda. Then we have Mr. Saravanan. He is a person who does yoga-based psychology. So he's like a psychiatrist that incorporates yoga, and he's had some very amazing and good results. So he will also share his views. So that will be one of the talks. And then we have Silvana Rigabon. She's from Italy, and she specializes in menstruation awareness. I also attended her session, and she incorporates that into dance and so on. And I also fully support her endeavor, because I think everyone, irrespective of female or male, irrespective of gender, should know about menstruation, respect it, become aware of it, and support it. So these are the talks that are lined up. We'll have some more talks as we go along. Is the audio clear for everyone?
It's better when you're holding it closer, Hasmukh.
How is it now? Okay, okay, I will do that. Yeah.
You want to speak more so we can tell you whether it is how clear it is.
Yeah. How is it now?
It's better. But when you talk continuously, I think when you're moving, I think there is a problem.
Okay. How is it now?
Nahi.
Oh, it has gone to my music. Okay. How is it now?
Better.
Better. Okay. So I will continue like this.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't move.
Yeah, I won't move. So these are the series of talks that we have lined up, and I think it is good. We are sharing our learnings, and that is what our community is for. So in terms of going forward, at least from a holistic healing perspective, I look at body, mind, and soul as three parts that holistically make up a human being, or any being for that matter, including plants and animals and all that. I am a very strong supporter of the universal being concept, where we respect every being in the universe. That's why it's universal being. And what it means is that the soil, the air, everything has a place, and we need to know how to respect everything and live in harmony with all of it. Correct. So that is also one of the learnings I had after coming here to Sapnaranch. To give you some background, when I moved to Sapnaranch, there was no human being who had lived here ever in a 1 kilometer radius, including the villagers. They actually thought I was hiding something because even the villagers don't live on their farm here. Villagers live in a wadi or a small space in the village, and their farms, they walk to their farms. So they all live together. And they even invited me to live in their wadi, or this collection of houses, collective houses, and I refused. I told them I've come here to live on my farm. They even complained to the police that I'm a terrorist, and the police came and so on, and they found that there was no malintent in my trying to live alone here. In fact, as the police inspector left, he gave me his mobile number and he said, if anybody troubles you, give me a call. So it's been a challenge here, but on the whole, it's been a very nice learning experience. So again, we'll focus on body, mind, and soul. And to start with, I would like to do a guided meditation. Okay. So this is a type of prayer that I do every morning. And I'm an iconoclast, which means that I believe that there is some spirit or some sort of energy, and I call that energy the light of universal consciousness. So I hold that as something that I live with. And so I will do this guided meditation that I do every day, share it over here. After this guided meditation is over, then we will have a 1 minute of silence in which everybody will do their own meditation. And that meditation should be for the betterment of the universe, but you do it in your own way. And after 1 minute, we'll break that silence, and then I will start the session. So the guided meditation, please close your eyes. May the light of universal consciousness guide us, protect us, and watch over us. We thank thee for all the help thou hast given us thus far. Please help us in our projects. We request this of thee. Amen. Amin. Shalom. Om. Shanti. 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 Okay. Everyone can open their eyes. And now again, we will have 1 minute of silence, because so here what I'm trying to say is there is a personal space and there is a community space. So the previous meditation that we did, guided meditation, that was a community space. At the same time, we also need to respect everybody as an individual. So now we are going into the individual space, and each individual says their own silent prayer for the betterment of the universe, and then we will start the session. Okay, it starts now. Okay. Open your eyes. Umesh, please keep track of the time. So I'll just continue. In terms of protocol for this particular session, I'm going to give everybody chances to ask questions from time to time. So the Q&A is not going to be just towards the end; it will also be in the interspersed in the middle. Okay. Before I start, though, I just want to do a round with everyone. 30 seconds, everyone, please take 30 seconds to let me know what are your expectations from this session based on what and it may be way off, it may be way in. There is nothing like right or wrong. So at least I know going in what are the expectations of the audience. And I'm only doing this because we are few people. If we were too many, then I would have just started the session. Okay. So 1 minute, I will just. So let's start with Umesh.
Can I pass Hasmukh for now?
Yeah, sure. Aishwarya. Aishwarya, you there? Okay, let's do one thing. We'll skip this. We will do that at a later stage. So I will just start. If there is anything that you think I missed, you can let me know at a later point in time. So we are going to start this whole holistic healing, I said, has to do with body, mind, and soul. But the most important thing is that the body is the foundation, because without the body, the mind and the soul ceases to exist in the physical form, right? And attachment or connection to the physical form. So we have to make efforts to keep our body healthy. And so I've just I would like to share a small 5-10 minute exercise, which I call stretches, from head to toe. And everybody can just see. I won't be able to stand because of the injuries on my foot, but at least I will do a guided stretching session. It hardly takes any time, but it is good to relax our body. From that, it's not a meditative relaxation; it is a stretching relaxation. And we are only going to do 10 of each, not even 10. Let's do 5 because otherwise it's going to take more time. So first, we're going to start with the head. Can everybody see me? So on the neck, go one direction, 5 of them. 4, 5, and now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and slowly you can also incorporate breathing into it. That you breathe in one position, and you breathe out in another position. So even breathing gets incorporated into the exercise. Okay. After this, it is the shoulders. So you raise your shoulders and touch them in the middle like this. So it's going around. 1, 2, 3, and the shoulders should rest like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then I use both my hands, which is go all the way back, and your eyes should follow one palm like this. 1. This whole thing movement is 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have done only 5. We go there. Then stand up and then rotate your hips one way 5 times and the other way 5 times. Okay, so just swing around your hips. I don't know whether you'll be able to see, but it's like this. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we do the same thing with the knees. You get your knees to bend a bit, and then move the knees in one direction, right hand in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you will have to sort of rest your feet on the ground or bed or whatever, and then rotate your ankle. Directly the goal is to rotate the ankle 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we are done with the stretches, and you'll have to bear with me. I'm trying to get into this myself. Umesh, how do I get my own picture to be seen?
Swipe right, Hasmukh. Swipe, you might be able to see.
Right?
Yeah.
Swipe right. Okay, got it. So we have started with the physical part of, and now what I learned at Sapnaranch, number one, I alluded to it a bit, is to transition from fear to practice. This is very important. When I came here, I was petrified.
Mike.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so when I came,
There is a sort of noise in the background, like when you hold the microphone or
the fan, I think. How is it now?
okay. It still has the background noise.
Noise is coming.
This phone have a problem. How is it now?
Much better.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So when I came here, I was petrified of snakes and scorpions. There were all these. This total. This is a forest. And I decided that I am going to. And the villager just scared me. There's tigers here. There's wild boar. All sorts of things that you can think of in the wild space. But I just decided that I'm going to trust nature, and that nature is not there to harm me; it is there to heal me. Again, I wanted to get this sentence. It is not there to harm me; it is there to heal me. And with that passion, I lived here alone. I was in solitude at least for the first 4 years. I had during the day people from the village come and work on the farm. But in the evenings, I was just by myself. I had my 2 dogs and 1 cat. I had Simba and Bambi, and my cat was Goldie. So we started living, and anytime I used to see a snake, I used to kill it. I mean, I was totally scared. One fine day, what happened was I had a kitchen, which is away. So there was separate rooms. There was toilet, bathroom separate. The place where I was living was separate, and where the kitchen was separate. I open the kitchen door, and there is a huge snake, about 7 feet long, snake at the door. Means the snake has gone in during the day, and I closed that door at night. There was no locks here, and it got stuck. And the snake was fast asleep. It didn't come to attack me. Otherwise, normally the vision was it is going to kill me. It didn't. and I went to get a stick to kill it, though. By the time I went to get the stick, the cat had tried to paw it, and it ran inside the kitchen. So I somehow made the breakfast that day by standing on top of that bathing stool that you sit on, because I was scared that it would come and bite me. But I still remember that picture of the snake sleeping at the door when I opened the door, and it meant no harm. And after that, I've never killed a snake, and I'm totally calm with the snakes. On the farm, if there are snakes, unless they are in a position where they are in a danger to human beings, we kill it. Otherwise, no, we just catch it and release it elsewhere. Same is true with scorpions. I got stung by a scorpion within 6 months of my coming here, and I was sleeping, and the scorpion was on the pillow, which I didn't know at night, 11 o'clock. And I just rolled over right on top of the scorpion. This is after the fact that I got to know. And it stung me, and that pain was terrible. Immediately, I went on the internet and I researched, and I got to know that scorpions are not lethal, which means that the pain and everything is there, but they won't kill you. That sting doesn't kill you. So this was 11. So around 4 o'clock, the pain reduced, and I went off to sleep. The next day morning, I got up, I went out, I saw the scorpion. It was hiding behind the wall. I killed it. I took it to the doctor. The doctor said, "See, we can only give you a painkiller. There is no anti-snake, anti-scorpion venom that we keep here." So I said, "I don't want a painkiller now." It was 11 in the morning. The pain was subsiding. And after that, I've never killed a scorpion. If we find scorpions here, we catch it in a bottle and we release it. All I'm trying to say is we have to change our fears to passion. And to do that, instead of avoiding the things, we have to overcome the fear. Instead of avoiding the fear, we have to overcome the fear. Okay. And how does this relate to holistic healing? Stress, fear is one of the big causes of pain and ill health. Now, ill health doesn't have to be just physical. It does manifest itself into a physical thing at some point in time, but usually it starts with the mental, psychological fears. So first thing that I request everyone is transition from fear to passion. That is what I learned. That is the learning that I got from nature out here. I had one monitor lizard. The monitor lizard was about 3 feet long, and it lived very peacefully. To where I was, there was a sand pit. It was living in the sand pit. And I never troubled the monitor lizard, and the monitor lizard never troubled me. Finally, it left because my cats troubled the monitor lizard. I got some more cats, and then he went away. I had one gecko. There's a gecko who was living in Casa Uno when I came. And this was, I think, about 2 years after I came to live here. He would come at about 2 at night and peck on my head over here, and he would go. That's it, he would do. And it was sort of regular. And other than that, he never bothered me, and I never bothered him. So all I'm trying to say is fear, once you understand what it is about, and instead of avoiding, you overcome it. It helps reduce a lot of stress, number one. But more importantly, it helps us live in harmony with the things around us, correct? So now, as an exercise, again, I'm trying to make this session interactive. So I don't, instead of making it one way, I want to make it a two-way session. Each one, close your eyes and picture something you fear. And next time you encounter that situation, how would you deal with it so that the fear, instead of being avoided, gets overcome? Correct. I will share one more example here, but this has nothing to do with Sapnaranch. This has to do with my previous life, my corporate life. It is said that the second most feared thing in human beings is public speaking, speaking in public. They say number one is either snake bite or death. After that comes public speaking. And I too had that fear. So I joined an organization called Toastmasters International. I was a member of that organization for 17 years and they played various roles in their organization. But Toastmasters International talks about better listening, better thinking, and better speaking. Speaking comes last, but you listen, think, and speak. Those sort of things. And I joined an organization so that instead of avoiding my fear of speaking in public, I could overcome it. And that helps. So there are some things that people can learn from. At this point, I'm just going to open up for anybody who wants to share their fear that they thought of and what they are thinking of or how they are thinking of overcoming it, or if they need help on suggestions to overcome it. One person or two persons. Anybody?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Sunita here.
Okay.
Okay. So fears, I really don't know. I mean, when I close my eyes, I really couldn't fear much because I basically am very passionate about life, just enjoy everything that comes my way. But yes, I have a lot of anxiety that just seems to have set in, for the past almost 20 odd years. It's sort of it's something that I've tried to get over some kind of trauma. But what happened is it's sort of limited my creative abilities. So every time I try to do something creative, I enjoy writing poetry, I enjoy writing, I enjoy sketching, I enjoy drawing. But every time I try to do something, there's a big ball of anxiety that rises in me. So I really don't know how to combat that. I don't know how to continue living the way I was earlier. So that's something that I was looking forward to, just finding out a lot. Any kind of insight is helpful, of course. So that's about it.
Yeah, and we will address it. It's part of my talk, so it'll come in later. Instead of addressing it right now, it'll come as part of the talk. And if it's still not addressed, will let me know, and then I will discuss it some more. Okay. Anybody else? One more person.
Hasmukh, I could share.
Sure.
So while nothing came to me, as I think Sunita also said, nothing came to me when I closed my eyes. But yes, one fear that I'm aware of is the fear of dogs. And it has been, I don't know when it's set in, because I remember it wasn't there earlier. So somewhere it set in, and somewhere it has stopped me from, like, even if I have to venture somewhere alone and I know there are street dogs. Mainly street dogs, what I am fearful of. So I think, yeah, so that's the fear. And I also see times when I have overcome, and you are aware of that. So yes, so
Yep.
I just thought I'll share it with you.
Good. Okay, here I would like to share one quote by Franklin Roosevelt, who was the president of America. Just before, immediately after they had a huge recession, and then they had the Second World War. So during those days, and his quote was, "The only thing to fear is fear itself." Okay, he took over. He became the president after one of the. It was known as the Great Depression, and there was a recession of where a lot of people were going hungry and dying in the U.S. And that time he took this over and he turned things around. Okay. So anyway, that's about fear. Now, I'm going to intersperse this thing, as I said, with discussion and with some physical activity. So we did those stretches. Now, one more important thing about being healthy is having a good way to breathe. Because if we don't breathe, we are dead. Everything in nature breathes. So air is one of the most abundant things in nature. and it is also one of the enlivening things in nature. It keeps people alive. Number one is breathing. So how do you breathe? A lot of people who are doing exercise and so on, they say, oh, we must breathe from the chest. The real way to breathe is from the stomach. So you pull your diaphragm down. So the stomach comes out. When you pull your diaphragm down, can you feel it? The stomach comes out. Then you let the air go in the chest, and then you exhale. So it is stomach coming out, and then it's going to your chest, and then exhaling. All of you know Roger Federer. How many of you like any? I'm hoping everybody's into tennis. And Roger Federer, the acclaimed, uh, what I would say, for the acclaimed reason for his energy level is that he breathes through his stomach. He's not like this bodybuilder thing who try to get their chest out. Okay, so that was one. And then in yoga, we have Kapalbhati, we have Anulom Vilom, several other things. We don't have the time for that today. But today I would like to share something that very few people know, and that is known as the Wim Hof breathing technique, WIMHOF. He's from the Netherlands, he's from Holland, and he holds the world records for the coldest temperatures withstood by a human being. He has run half a marathon on ice in shorts. And people who take his training, they are able to run in the snow in shorts. Yes, Wim Hof. Okay. So what we will do again, because of lack of time, my goal in this session today is to just introduce you to certain things instead of taking you fully there. And then you can practice for a longer period, whatever makes sense to you. You can even share with me over WhatsApp or over email of what else you would like to know. Okay. So for Wim Hof, this breathing technique, as I said, so you take from the stomach going up to the chest, okay, and then exhaling. Now, sometimes exhaling, because you have taken in so much air, exhaling through the nose might take a long time. You can exhale through the mouth. Okay, so we will do 10 of these. Okay, so, and on the 10th breath, after we exhale, we are going to hold the breath, which means there is no air inside. After the 10th breath, we are going to hold it, and we are going to hold it for 20 seconds. Okay, not long, 20 seconds. And how do you know 20 seconds? In your mind, you count 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, like up to 1020. That makes it 20 seconds. Okay, let's start. Eyes closed. 3, 4, 6, 10th breath, exhale and hold. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 1011, 1012, 1013, 1014, 1015, 1016, 1017, 1018, 1019, 1020. Now inhale and hold for 15 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 1011, 1012, 1013, 1014, 1015, and then back to normal breathing. Now, in the real Wim Hof, I just did this as a short demonstration. In the real Wim Hof, you do 30 deep breaths. On the 30th deep breath, when you exhale, you hold it for 30 seconds. This time you only hold it for 20. You hold it for 30 seconds. Then take a deep breath in again and hold it for 15 seconds. And then you exhale and then take another 30 deep breaths. You hold it. Next time you hold it for 1 minute. And then take a deep breath for 50, and then hold it for 15 seconds. And after that, again, another 30 deep breaths. On the last exhale, you hold it for 1.5 minutes. Then you take a deep breath and hold it for 15 seconds. And then the fourth time, again, you take 30 deep breaths. And on the last exhalation, you hold it for 2 minutes. Then you take a deep breath and hold it for 15 seconds. And you're done. Now, let me explain to you my experience. 30 seconds, I had no problem. But for the 1 minute, I first could only do 40, 45 seconds. And then slowly I got to 1 minute. But I still did the 4 sessions and just went to the maximum that I could. And slowly, after about 3 months, over a period of 3 months, I was able to get to the 2 minutes. Okay. This helps you in improving your chest, breathing, the immunity, and so on. And I can tell you, especially given the COVID situation, those who practice this will have a very high immunity to COVID. Okay. So this is about the physical part. And also there will be situations in this where when you hold it, you will have a fear. So I had, the person who taught me this was Zoris from France. He was a volunteer here. And he did this while lying down, because he said when he sat and he held his breath, he felt he would faint. So sitting, he could not hold his breath for as long as he wanted. But when he lay down, that fear of fainting and falling off was gone. So he could keep this breath held for a longer period of time. So there are various coping mechanisms. So have those. Okay. So that was about transitioning from fear to passion. Second, I'm going to talk about stress, coping with stress, because stress is also a cause of many illnesses, which even alludes to anxiety that Sunita mentioned. And stress comes from fear. Fear is also one of the contributors to stress. And it leads to discomfort that comes in. So there are 2 things that one needs to practice for overcoming stress. Number 1 is acceptance. You're in a situation, accept it, whatever has happened. And I'll give you my real life examples here too. And second is gratitude. And I'm trying to simplify things, so I don't want to make things complex. So to overcome stress, 2 things. Number 1 is acceptance, and number 2 is gratitude. Those who are on the group know that on March 11, I had many. So prior to that, I had many physical challenges where I fell ill and then I got hurt and so on. That started on November 19th. And then while I was recovering from all of that, on March 11th, my motorbike slipped and I fell on my right side, and it's my right toe that was injured. I had a walking boot on my right ankle and that part of the foot. And my right knee, my right elbow, and my right shoulder all got hurt. And I somehow managed to get the motorbike up. I was pretty slow because the road was not good. I managed to get the motorbike up. The motorbike was still working. I assessed the damages that were there to me. And I accepted, this happened. I can't change anything. I was angry that, I have gone through so much. What else is remaining? And then I have to go through all this. I went through those emotions as well. However, in about a minute's time, I just said how thankful I am and I'll let you know why. First, I had this boot on my right ankle. I can assure you, if that boot was not there, 100%, my ankle would have got fractured because the fall was it was on gravel. There were stones below and all that stuff. So the boot prevented any injury to the ankle. Okay. Then the knee injury. The knee injury was pretty severe, but again, it hit the patella. Entire skin on top of my patella was gone. Means it was scraped off. Having said that, there was no damage to the bone. It was just the skin level injury. There was one cut which was about 5 mm into the skin, about an inch and a half long, but again, not much there. My elbow, again, just skin scraping, not much. My shoulder had some muscle pain, but again, no dislocation, no sprain, and no wound, no scraping wound as well. So when I look at that, I was in gratitude that it could have been far worse, but it was just this much. And I am expecting that people who are listening to this will practice this. That again, acceptance. So I accepted. I had this injury. There was nothing, no going back. And actually, after this, I went ahead 20 kilometers, did whatever job I had to do, and I got back. I didn't even go back home. And then once I got back 4 hours later, I treated all the wounds. Okay. Many a times we are in various situations, and the way to reduce the stress from the situations is by thinking how fortunate we are that the situation was not far worse than what it was. That is gratitude. So first is accept the situation, and then gratitude. Did somebody put a chat or anything just now? No. Okay. So that is about reducing stress. So again, there is anxiety. Now, anxiety comes in from not knowing the outcome. So one of the key things that I tell people is that I am very comfortable with uncertainty. Please keep this in mind. We don't know. Uncertainty is a way of life. We can't escape it. We can't avoid it. We have come to live. We were born, and we are going to die. When we are going to die is uncertain. No matter how hard we try, we can never be certain about when we are going to die. So let us embrace uncertainty. Let us be comfortable with uncertainty. And that is one way of reducing stress. And to do that, I am going to ask everyone another exercise. So I'm going to intersperse this with actual doing things. Okay. So as I say, learning by doing. So please clasp your hand. Everybody clasp your hand. Some of them who have come to Sapnaranch may already know this, but otherwise, everybody clasp your hand. Some of you have your right thumb over the left thumb, and some of you have your left thumb over the right thumb. Okay. Now unclasp your hand and reverse the thumb which is on top. So if your right thumb is on top, you unclasp and make your left thumb on top. If your left thumb was on top, then unclasp and clasp back again with the right thumb on top. Okay, so unclasp and do it the other way around. Okay. Now just release it. So the second time, and everybody can unmute. The second time you did the clasping, did you feel uncomfortable? I couldn't hear you.
Yes,
Sunita.
yes.
Yes.
Correct? Everybody felt uncomfortable. Now my question to you, is it wrong?
No,
It's not wrong. Exactly.
it's not wrong. Yeah.
Now, okay. So now you can mute yourself. In the schools today, okay, or even in colleges, there's all multiple choice questions. Can there be more than one right answer to any question? No, correct? There can be only one right answer. So we are conditioned, we have been conditioned right from our school days to think that there is only one right answer. And that is where the stress lies. In life, that is what here, when I came to Sapnaranch, that is what I learned. that there are so many right answers. Like I grow up, put a seed. There are so many different ways of growing that same seed, and they are all right. Okay, so that is very important. And once you can accept the fact that there's more than one right answer, so sometimes people are stressed. They are looking for an answer that somebody else got, and they think that that is the only right answer. So whatever they got is wrong, and that adds to the stress. And society is such that somebody else, whoever has been successful, is right and everybody else is wrong. No, everybody can be right. Okay, and to that I will add one more, actually two more examples here, and these were tried out. So first is, there was a room full of balloons. Some of you may have already heard this. And from that room full of balloons, there were 10 children. They were all asked to pick one balloon and write their name on it. And then that whole, those balloons were mixed into the room of balloons. And then these 10 children were asked to go in and find their balloon in 5 minutes. Okay, so there must have been about 100 balloons. So these kids went in and then they were looking and so on. Of the 10 kids, maybe one or two by chance, by luck, got their balloon, the remaining didn't. Correct? And the exercise was, now they changed the rules. They said, okay. Again, they said, they got the balloons, they mixed them up, and they said, this time, whatever balloon you find. Okay. So if I find Umesh's balloon, then the job is that I have to give that balloon to Umesh. It's not, I should not put that balloon back into the balloons in the room. Whatever balloon I find, whoever's balloon I find, I give it to the person. If I find my balloon, okay, but I still continue finding the balloon for the other people. Okay, so this is known as collaboration. And they found all the kids got their balloons within 3 minutes. Correct? So what does this mean? Is that in nature, one of the things to overcome is to collaborate. So I don't do monocropping. So people here who have come have seen there will be some banana plants here. There will be some guava plants here next to it. There will be lemon. We have got coconut. We have got arecanut, bamboo. All of them are interspersed. So we do intercropping. And that works out. So in nature, again, if you go into a forest, you won't find a forest full of mango trees. You'll find a forest that has mango trees, that has jackfruit, and there are some banyan trees, various different types of trees, and they live together. So one of the ways to overcome fear is to collaborate, to trust others. Okay. Now about acceptance. So going back to stress, acceptance and gratitude is, we have to get to know ourselves, what is inside us, and listen to the inside. Most of the society is listening to the outside. Oh, that fellow, he has a Mercedes Benz and I only have a Maruti 800. But if I have gratitude, I will think that, oh my God, look at that fellow. He doesn't even have a bicycle and I have a Maruti 800. Then that's where the gratitude comes. And that's why the anxiety reduces. So it's important that we accept what we have and practice gratitude for what we have. Okay, this is one. Second example that is, and it has been tried in many management courses, is there are 10 people, each is given a balloon and a toothpick. The 10 people are supposed to blow their balloon at the signal, and at the end of 1 minute, whoever has the balloon unburst in their hand is the winner. Okay. So in this exercise, whenever it has been done, everybody's balloon has been burst within 30 seconds. Forget 1 minute. And then the facilitator says, see what I said. I said you blow your balloon. And whosoever has the balloon in their hand fully blown at the end of 1 minute is the winner. And people are using the toothpick and going around bursting each other's balloon. And the facilitator says, I didn't say that you have to burst somebody else's balloon. So which means that if all the 10 of them had blown the balloon and just left it as it is for a minute, all the 10 could have been winners. And I'm just giving you all these examples of how to reduce stress. We are all winners. We don't have to go get into competition and burst somebody else's balloon. Because if we do that, somebody else will burst our balloon too. We have to live our life as a reflection of what we are born to be, which is to be a universal being, to respect everybody, and to be in gratitude for what we have. Okay, so that's about reducing stress. Next, I'm going to talk about moving from race to pace. That is what nature taught me here. To give you an idea, when I came here, I got a JCB, which is an earth mower, and started leveling my farm. By the time, because I came with a total urban mindset, by the time I had leveled half an acre, forget 1 full acre, by the time I had leveled half an acre of farm, the cost of leveling of that half acre of farm was more than the cost of the land itself. And I stopped at that point and said, there is something wrong here. It can't be like this. And again, I had this idea of having plants in a row, and I did that. To let you know, in 2011, I planted 650 banana plants, all in a row, neatly, with drip irrigation and all that. I was even putting fertilizer at that time. And then something told me I'm doing something wrong. So what should I do to make it right? So I realized that until that time, I wanted nature to listen to me. This is my idea. Work with it. These plants are going to be in a row. The land is going to be level. And I was forcing my ideas on the land. And over time, I realized that that is not the right thing. What I have to do is I have to listen to the land. The land is talking with me, but I'm not listening to it. And once I got into that listening mode, it has been a profound experience. So yes, there's no straight lines in nature. Like the river. If the river were to flow straight to the ocean, so many communities would be waterless. Just by winding its way around, all ancient civilizations have flourished on riverbanks. You look at Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. You look at Egyptian civilization, they had the Nile. Okay. You look at the civilizations in Europe, they're all on riverbanks. Even now in US, many of the cities are on riverbanks. Chicago, San Antonio, many of the cities are all Washington. They're all on riverbanks. So, and if those rivers are going straight, all these things may not have happened. So we should be comfortable with things not being straight or looking organized. One of the things that how do you know that a plant is artificial or real? The artificial plant will have all its leaves green. Perfect. There's no gray or browning of the leaf or anything like that. And there'll be no dry leaves at its bottom. While a natural plant will have dry leaves at the bottom and so on. So in nature, things are, what I would say, what I would say here is, we have to accept it the way it is, and asymmetry is one of the things in nature. Correct? So that's one thing I got to learn, is listen to nature. Speak with nature. So like I have curry leaves, curry patta, I use plant. Whenever I pluck a curry leaf from it, I say thank you to the plant. Or if I'm plucking a fruit, I will say thank you to the plant. Have a conversation, show gratitude to the plant that is giving us the fruit. At this point, I also want to stress upon one thing that I learned from nature, which is not being practiced in corporate life. In corporate life, just one check. Umesh, what is the time?
It's 4.
4 o'clock. Okay. Good. So in nature, everything is based on abundance. In corporate life, in industry, everything is based on scarcity, right? Supply and demand. If the supply is less and demand is more, you can get a higher price for it. That is everything that is based on. So the whole thing is on scarcity. You make things scarce, like onions, you make them scarce, and you can charge 80 rupees a kilo. While when onion is in abundance, it doesn't even sell for 10 rupees a kilo. So there's everything driven the other way around. While in nature, it's just on abundance. The tree doesn't say, what are you going to give me in return for the fruit I produce for you? Other than the fact that, please give me some manure, water, and take care of me. Correct. So right now I have a huge abundance harvesting of mulberries. This has been the best mulberry year for me since I moved here. And it's so much joyous to share. Okay. So we have to move away from scarcity and towards abundance. And to do that, we should not be listening to things outside us. So one of the things, so many of you may have already heard about non-violent communication, which has been promoted by Marshall Rosenberg out of US. And a person who is promoting non-violent communication has had several divorces in his own life. Okay, so it doesn't mean that he's a failure, that he cannot communicate well. Sometimes that makes sense, and that brings about peace, brings about non-violence. But the principle of non-violence is people get violent when they have unmet needs. Okay, so we have to focus on our needs that can be met. If we are focused on our needs that can be met, we will not have violence in our thinking or in our actions. Now, how do we do that? So I'll be giving several references. There is a novel by the title Memoirs of a Geisha. Geisha is a prostitute in Japanese terms, but I hate to call the word prostitute because they are very respected women. They can do conversations and they can do a lot of things. And I am using the word just for explanation, but I want to think of a geisha as a very respected person. And in that, this is a real life geisha. She has written about her experiences and she talks about the torments and all those things she goes through. And she says, when there is a storm, the storm strips everything away from you, except that which it cannot strip anymore. The storm can't strip everything from you. There are certain basic things. Like, let's say the storm can strip the clothes off me. Let's say they were not properly tethered or anything. But at least my body is there with me. It cannot strip my body off. Okay? And our job in life is to find what is that core that nobody can strip from us. Be it physical, be it mental, be it spiritual. Once we have identified the core that no calamity in this universe can strip from us, and we accept it, and we say, if everything goes, at least I have this much, we can never be unhappy. And that is what I practice at Sapnaranch. And people who have come here can see. Like, I don't say, oh, I must have 1,000 square foot space for myself. No, I just have a bed, a table, and a wardrobe. That's good enough. It's in a 6 feet by 10 feet area. 60 square feet is more than enough for me. So that is my core. So long as I have that much, I'm okay. Food wise, okay, if whatever is there around, I have insulin leaf, I have bryophyllum leaf, all those I can survive on the leaves itself. There's enough fruit growing and so on. So one of the ways of reducing stress is to become aware of what is it that is our core. And once we identify our core and we trust and rely on our core, not on somebody else's core or not on somebody else's thinking, but my own awareness, nothing can shake us. Correct? And I've seen here. So to give you an idea, on February 1st, we had a forest fire here. Some of you have seen 25% of my farm was devastated. And immediately the next day, we started fixing the drip irrigation pipes, and we started the plants that were completely burnt off, their leaves were all burnt off and so on. And we started putting humic acid, which is a natural compound for regeneration. 75% of those plants that were stressed out by the fire have revived. Because the core, the roots, we tried and fed those things with water, with humic acid, with manure, and we are reviving. Correct? So I'm thankful for that. And that is how we need to move forward. Okay. Next, so again, here, one more thing I want to say is forgiving design. Remember, I was talking about one answer and so on. So at Sapnaranch, we practice this thing called forgiving design. Mistakes are not meant to be punished. Mistakes are meant to be learned from, to be accepted and to be learned from. So many people don't accept their mistakes. They sweep it under the carpet. No, everybody makes mistakes. Nothing in nature is perfect. The day the nature becomes perfect, life on the planet will end. Because what keeps us alive is evolution. Our move towards perfection without having attained it. And in that move towards perfection, we correct our mistakes. And that is what we call forgiving design. Everybody makes mistakes. At Sapnaranch, if anybody makes mistake, breaks a drill bit, does several things, we don't punish them. So, okay, let's see. Our drill bit is broken. Okay, I'll give you another drill bit. But let's figure out, why did it break? Or because I put the pressure on the wrong side, or I didn't wait for the drill outside. I didn't sort of put the drill moving first and then touched it to the wood. The same is true for saw and all those things. We try and okay, and we try and learn from mistakes, and that is how I would want all learning to happen. Today, kids are punished for mistakes. People in the workspace are punished for mistakes, and we are destroying our creativity. Correct? And stress from mistakes is also one of the causes of ill health. So healing is forgiving design. Okay, so that is where I wanted to share that by forgiving design, we are reducing our stress. Okay, so next point is we need to move from race to pace. Okay, today everybody is fast, competition. I want to be the first. I want to be the youngest and all that stuff. I am challenging people to reverse the competition. I want to be the oldest person to do this. What's wrong with it? Correct? And in the process of that competition, we are destroying the happiness of our kids. Kids are doing things that they are forced to do. And therefore, nature is saying it's all about pace. If I plant a mango tree, I can't expect a mango tree to give me mangoes in 1 year. Correct? The mango will grow in 4 years, and in the 5th year, it will give me the mango and so on. Same way, a banana plant will give me bananas in a year. If I put coriander, it gives me coriander in about 3 to 4 weeks. If I put leaf radish, that gives me again a harvest in about 4 weeks. So there are different things that have different times and different pace. Now I have planted watermelon. I've got 2,500 watermelon saplings with seeds that I planted. They are growing. We finished this whole exercise end of Feb, and by end of April we will have some watermelons here. But I can't say, oh no, I want those watermelons in a month because the market is going to end in a month. No, then I should have planted them a month ago. So very important is go with the flow. Okay, and that sort of reduces our stress. A simple thing about babies. A human baby takes 9 months to deliver from conception to birth. We can't do it in 3 months or 5 months or 7 months. Even 7 months, it's called prenatal condition, and we have to do some special treatment for this baby to be kept alive. So be comfortable with pace. And each person's pace is different. That is one more thing. So if I can run 100 meters in 20 seconds and somebody else can run 100 meters in 10 seconds, that doesn't mean I'm a failure. Okay, I'm running in 20 seconds and the other person, that is all okay. This was one corporate real life situation where we were designing something and the CEO, this is a pet project of the CEO, he would tell us something, get me this. And then we would get him that. And then he would say, okay, now get me this. And then we would get him that. It was an extension of the same thing. And then finally, because I was a consultant, I told the CEO, this doesn't work. You need to tell me what is your end goal. And I explained to him, I'm a marathon runner. I've run 9 marathons, so I can just explain to you that I can't run the entire marathon at in a sprint at a 100-meter pace. Correct. So I have to pace myself from the beginning. If I were to run it like 100 meters, I run as fast as I can, I rest. Then again, I run the next 100 meters as fast as I can, and then I rest. My timing for the marathon will be way more than if I were to run the marathon at a steady pace. That is pace. So if I try to race 100 meters and then stop, 100 meters and then stop, that is race. Correct? And there is a saying, the race of life doesn't belong to the swift, but to those who keep on running. So move life from race to pace. Okay. One key thing that I wanted to cover in this talk is happiness. And therefore, I had sent out, what is it? Umesh, first, can you do the screen share and show that video?
Sure.
How heavy is this glass of water?
Yeah.
How heavy is this glass of water? Melissa, would you care to answer?
8 ounces,
12 ounces?
16 ounces.
The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to it. If I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold it for an hour, my arm will begin to ache. If I hold it all day long, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Well, the weight of the glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little while, there's no problem. Think about it for a little bit longer, it begins to hurt. You think about them all day long, and you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down.
Okay. Right. So again, everybody who was thinking about stress, it is in our control to drop it, to put the glass down. It's not helping us. So again, somebody spoke about anxiety, whatever is there. It is totally in our hands. And to drop it down, we need to know what is the core that makes us. And everything else can go. You let go of everything else other than the core. Drop it. And we will live a very healthy and happy life. Okay, now just share the happiness hormones screen image.
Sure.
Okay. So one of the things, as I said, I do a lot of research and I do some crazy research. I like to go against convention. I don't like to go against convention, but I like to believe in what I have learned rather than believing in what somebody else has learned and shared, which also I do. But there are certain things that is in my core. Okay, one of the things in my core right now is from my research that I believe that the fundamental components of life are chemicals. Chemicals generate electricity. So if you look at how our nerves function, the source of the functioning of our nerves are chemicals. Then those chemicals are released, and those released chemicals generate signals, which then transmit through our nervous system. And we have to understand how those chemicals work, and then work with those chemicals to be in harmony with our own body. Okay. Now, purpose of life, for not just for us, for everybody, is happiness. If we are happy, we will be healthy and we will be harmonious. There's no two things about it. I fundamentally believe in this, number one. And number two, I also believe that the happiness is by nurturing the chemicals that make us happy. Okay. I give an example. Typically, and many of you have heard it, but I don't mind repeating it one more time. There is a person who wants to be a millionaire, and in the pursuit of being a millionaire, the person is skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, skipping dinner, having fast food, running around under stress, and after all that effort makes $1 million. And once he makes $1 million, he realizes, oh my God, this other person has 10 million. I need to make 10 million. And he continues that even at a faster pace, at a more hectic pace. And in the process, he falls sick. He's eating tablets by the hour and still continuing his pace. And anybody who comes in the middle of his pursuit for 10 million, he kicks them out of the way. So first of all, this person who is trying to make $1 million and then 10 million is not happy. Second, he's not healthy because again, the habits are not there. And third, he's not harmonious. Everybody hates this fellow because he is only worried about himself getting to 10 million. Okay. So it is very important that we are happy with what we have. And I'll give another anecdote. This is real life. The second one I say is a real life example. I read it in Reader's Digest some 20, 30 years ago. And what I want to share here is that there are two journalists. There's a person who bought a tycoon in the US who bought an entire island. He was so rich. And for the inauguration of the island, he wanted to show off how rich he is. So he invited the who's who of the world, including journalists, to write about his greatness. And these are two journalists. I don't know their names now. I don't remember. But let us just say it is Ken and Tom. So Ken is telling Tom, see how much he has, referring to the tycoon. And Tom responds to Ken, he will have nothing. He will not have that. He will never, not just not, he will never have that which I have. And Ken is intrigued. I mean, look at this guy. He's so rich and all this stuff. What does Tom have that this fellow, the tycoon, will never have? So Ken asks him, what is it? And Tom replies in one word, enough. So if we want to be happy, we have to realize, and we have to accept, and we have to have gratitude. We have to be in gratitude for what we have, that we have enough. Okay. I would, so there are a lot of things. So if everybody is okay, I will share with everybody who has signed up my list of documentaries and books and articles, which have inspired me over a period of time. Okay. So there is a documentary called The Happiness Machines by Adam Curtis from BBC. So, and that is the first part. There is a set of 4 video documentaries. The whole thing is called Century of Self. And the first part is happiness machines. So I'm going to go to the first thing in the happiness hormones. Like I explained to you why we need to know about the hormones that make us happy. And then we need to use those hormones. We need to feed those hormones to keep us happy. So first one is dopamine. Okay. So that is the reward chemical. Now, when let's say I have a desire to buy a car. And when I get the car, that becomes my reward. And we are all driven by rewards. We are all driven by dopamine. Dopamine is a very short-term happiness. So if you look at our entire thing, system, right from school, okay, if you get 90% marks, then I'm happy. So the kid is, and if you get 90% marks, I will buy you a bicycle, or I don't know, I will get you this or that, whatever you wanted. I will get you a smartphone and all that stuff. We are making our kids prisoners of rewards. And so are we. Everybody is a prisoner of the reward system of society. And this happiness machines, there is a guy by the name of Edward Baines in that documentary. And this is real life. Huh? So he started this whole thing. And he said that he is the person who was the consultant for General Motors, the car company. And he got it into the psyche of people that if you have 2 cars, it would be very good. And one of the employees of Edward Baines said, he put it in the minds of people. I don't need a second car, but if I get the second car, I will be happy. It will make me happier. And that really is not happiness. Yeah, so consumerism is all driven by this. Okay, we are eating chips. Chips are unhealthy, but it feels good. And this feel good thing is dopamine. And it is all marketing firms all over the world are, what I would say, plagiarizing or benefiting from corrupting people to release dopamine unjustly. Okay, like I give the example, who in today's world, a corporate world, who is considered to be a super salesperson? And that is, a super salesperson is the person who can sell an air conditioner to an Eskimo. In reality, that is a crime. But in the corporate world, in the world of consumerism, if you can sell something that they don't need, then you are super, because you are played with the mind of the person. Correct? There is a saying now that people are buying things they don't need with the money they don't have to please people they hate. Correct? And that is not what this world should be about. Okay, so dopamine. So be careful of dopamine and the reward system. Yes, we need reward system, we need incentives, we need inspirations, but make them healthy. Make them healthy. Okay, so we can't say, oh, let us not release dopamine at all. It's going to get released, no matter what we do. But we will release it in such a way, and we need to start with our children, because that is my passion, that the reward system has to be a reflection of what is right, of what will make this planet a better place. So let the reward system reflect what will make our universe a better place, and let our rewards for our children and anybody that we design reflect that. Okay, so then that should release dopamine. For example, eating salad is good for health. Then when I talk about salads, that is when the dopamine should get released, not when I talk about chips and double cheese pizza and all that stuff. Okay, so that is number 1. Number 2 is serotonin. Okay, now serotonin is the mood builder. So it comes. So that is second. So I'm not going to follow the sequence here. I'm going to follow the sequence in which I have learned things. But serotonin does come second. So serotonin sets you in a good mood when you achieve something, when you have done it. So dopamine is about desire. Serotonin is about doing something at that level. So I'm going for a walk. I'm in the sunshine. I feel nice. I'm in green plants over there. I'm in the shade sleeping. So these are all situations which releases serotonin. Meditation, for example, like we did meditation in the beginning, correct? So then that would come as serotonin. Okay. Next, yeah, I'm going to go to endorphins. Okay, no, I'm going to go to endorphins. Then I will go to oxytocin. So endorphins, I want everybody to please pay attention to endorphins. So it comes in that sequence though, is dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. Now endorphins are released when we achieve something, okay, which is there, like exercise. Now here I want to stress, because I am a runner, there is a person who runs 5 kilometers in 20 minutes, okay, and there is somebody who is doing brisk walking, really pushing his or her limits, and completes the 5 kilometers in an hour, because walking you can't run that fast. Then the person who has run the 5 kilometers in 20 minutes has not built the immune system as much as the person who has run the who has walked briskly. And again, not a leisurely walk, briskly, which means you are providing some level of stress, right? So serotonin is the painkiller, but anybody who walks more than 45 minutes of brisk walking a day, serotonin endorphins get released around 35-40 minutes into the exercise, into the workout. So the person who just did the brisk walk, running, or the actual running for 20 minutes has not released endorphins. But the person who has gone beyond 35-40 minutes has released the endorphins. And endorphins are very good for building immunity. So keep that in mind. It's not about speed. It is about keeping our body challenged, but not super challenged enough for a certain period of time. And that I would say is 45 minutes or more. So keep those things in mind. When you're going for a walk and all these things, try to do them. And at a stretch, you can't do 20 minutes now and then 25 minutes in the evening. It has to be 45 minutes, one stretch. That is when the endorphins will get released in the brain. And that is when the immunity system comes up. So it builds a good sweat. Now, today, people are trying to avoid sweat. While sweat is a very healthy thing. And people who sweat remain there. Again, too much of anything is too bad. So again, you can't have too much sweat. You need to listen to your body and all that stuff, take a rest and things like that. So don't over sweat, but a limited amount of sweat is very good for the body, is very healthy. So that's endorphins. And you can see exercise and things like that will release endorphins. Next is oxytocin. Okay. Now, oxytocin is the most important of the happiness hormone. It makes you the happiest. Okay. So let's say when I run a marathon, after 45 minutes, the endorphins have got released and all that stuff. But when I run through the finish line, that is a high. I mean, there is no limit to happiness beyond that. Correct? So when you're trying to do a project that takes 6 months, and at the end of 6 months it's done and everything is okay, through the middle you're going through all these challenges, but at the end of it, you're happy. That is oxytocin. Okay. So oxytocin, since everybody is adult on this call, I can just explain also one more term, is when one has an orgasm during sex, that is, and that is when oxytocin is released. Okay. So same way, now that's the physical part of it. Okay. And probably mental, but the spiritual part, when people like Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, they do their type of social work and so on. they are in constant release of oxytocin. Whatever the activities they do releases oxytocin for them. So they are very happy doing it. And that is what we need to get to a stage to. We need to get to a stage where uh, we get spiritually, the oxytocin is spiritually released in our brain. And then we will never be unhappy. So that is what I wanted to share. What is the time now, Umesh?
It's 4:30.
4:30. Okay, yeah, so good. So we have a half an hour for Q&A. I can do more stuff, but if required, then I will do one more session. But for this session, I wanted to cover the happiness part of it. There are other things that I've learned from nature over here, but I think that will have to wait, because then I won't be able to do enough justice to everything. So this was what I planned, and I will open it up to Q&A. So number one, I just want to ask Sunita Nair, did I answer your question about anxiety?
Yes. I think one of the major points that I feel that needs to be addressed is the fact of being vulnerable enough to address your core. That's not happening, I think. As and how we get older, a lot of our ideas keep getting, brushed under the carpet, and then we develop a little bit of a resistance. And for me, it's mostly an uphill climb, constantly trying to get in touch with my core. I have lost my core somewhere, and I really don't know how to get it back again. And it is very difficult. A lot of things what you said, I have read it up. It's like, whatever you are looking for, it comes to you eventually in books or in documentaries or in talks somewhere or the other. It always comes up to you, like the book that you mentioned about I forgot about the book, the Geisha book. I have read it a long time
Memoirs
ago.
of a Geisha.
Yeah, Memoirs of a Geisha, wonderful book. And the art of motorcycle, Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance, all these things they do teach you a lot about life. Also, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, wherein getting to know yourself in terms of releasing the hormones about watching a comedy every night is very essential. It takes a lot of things off your mind and you can sleep peacefully. But somehow I have lost my core and I really don't know how to get in touch with it. And everyone tells you to address that. And I know if I get a grip on that, it will solve most of my problems, because I'm suffering from a lot of autoimmune conditions. And the only remedy for that, as you know, is like steroids and things like that, what the doctors proclaim. I'm trying to battle it through yoga, through Ayurveda, but it's quite a task, and I'm like 50 now. And I, like you said, the thing between race to pace is a little difficult to come when you've been always continuously grown with that this thing. Everybody around you is running the race and you're the only one who's trying to put a pace.
Yeah.
So I don't know how there's no magic mantra, I know, but to get to the core is something that I've been trying and trying and trying.
So one thing I can suggest is visit places like Sapnaranch and stay there for at least a week.
Absolutely.
Be in nature.
I'm going to get your number and I'm going to definitely visit there. I've got 2 children. One is age 20 and one is 10, and we would love to be there. Definitely.
Okay.
Hasmukh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So as Sunita ji was telling, this has been the issue that I am also facing, finding out the core. And to give you a context, last 10 years I've spent in villages, living with tribal communities mostly, and spending time doing different works. But then last year things happened that I had to leave everything and I have to move to city. And my reality right now is that I thought that in that span of 8-10 years I'll be able to create a place for myself where probably I'll call my parents and tell them this is the kind of life I want to. But they are not interested in that. And as their conditions have, they are around 70 years of age. So as their conditions have deteriorated, their core expectation is that I should be with them. And and one of the struggles that I go through is that because I've lived all my life away from them, it is very difficult for me to resonate with them. And there are value-based clashes, there are clashes, but then um, all my savings ran out and all that thing happened, and now I am in city and I'm trying to daily comfort myself, saying, okay, accept this is as your reality for now, accept this as your reality for now. But since I have been here for like let's say 8-7 months, I've lost everything. The joy I used to feel when I used to live in a farm or work in a farm, doing things from hands, I don't feel motivated at all when I'm living in this home. I don't feel connect with anyone around me. So so yeah, I'm trying to find how to exist in this situation.
Okay, this is for everybody. It is very important to set personal boundaries. If you don't set personal boundaries, you will cease to exist. You will vanish in ether. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is very, doesn't matter who it is, parents or anything like that. So you need to tell them, okay, I understand your situation. These are the things, but this is what I will do. And that is where it ends. So same way here, I live at Sapnaranch. Many of people have come here. Many people have come here. I practice a very open, freedom-based sharing. And there are some people who do take advantage, who misuse and abuse the freedom that I provide. And I tolerate it. But after a certain point, I tell them, please leave. That's it. I have my limits too. While the others who can respect the freedom and the limits, they enjoy it. Now I will let you know, there is one school in UK. So I've done a lot of research and built the learning environment here. I've taken inspiration from the school called Summerhill. Last year it celebrated 100 years. It was started by a person named A.S. Neil. But he said, so we give freedom. Okay, they say we give freedom, but it is not a license. Okay, just because I give you freedom, you can't slap me. You have to respect me and I respect you. That is where the freedom continues. If you don't respect me, the freedom ends. Now, I know it's easy for me to say, they are your parents and so on, and you have to strike a compromise. But I think it is important that you let them know your limits. Otherwise, you will lose yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, see, thank you, Manus, for sharing this. I'm a middle-aged, I'm like 44, almost 44, and these kind of questions do come up when I have discussions with my friends, women friends. Women have more responsibilities. Okay, so society, men do have more, freedom, space to, yeah. So see, if your parents expect, that is very natural, and you feel that you need to take care of them. That's also a part of you. But my suggestion would be, it's easy to give suggestions, sorry. Yeah, to find a middle ground. See, what I have seen most women, my friends do that. They create a ritual, a kind of space for themselves. So if you love farming, you're living in a city. I used to do that in Gurgaon. I used to go to this place, they have these plots where you can volunteer. So few hours a week, see that you don't completely lose, keep a part of your keep a part of yours, what should I say, nurture, which, keep a part of yours open, and what you love to do, keep nourishing it, because that is going to nurture your life. And see, if you just say to your parents that I'm going to, I'm going to do what I wanted to do, what I want to do. That's also not fair. Okay, yeah. So try to find some kind of middle path where you can do what you want to do and enjoy to do, and that will nourish you, nurture you, and also so that is that. Women do that. Women have been doing this for a very long time, and Miss Sunita said something about that, so I understand what you're saying, especially for women. Again, I'm coming from that perspective, being a woman. We have been given a format by the society how to live our life, what choices we have to make. Maybe I have autoimmune thing, so I understand. So sometimes something inside you is asking you to be more authentic to what you want, what nurtures you. But as a mother, as a homemaker, and all of the roles you are playing, you have been busy taking care of everything, but somewhere that voice you have inside you is kind of lost. So maybe staying in Sapnaranch or elsewhere, solitude does help. We forget to listen to ourselves. So then if you find that voice and then you decide how to go about it and balance, find a balanced middle path, because we cannot just shirk off our responsibility. So at least the children grow up and all that. Sorry, it went for a long time. Yeah, sorry, thanks.
True, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And any other question? Okay. If there are no questions, I would like to start taking feedback. So I'm going to be in the listening mode. Umesh, you can just say who will be giving the feedback. We'll just go in the chronological order of the people who were still there.
Sure.
In the participant list. But what I'm expecting is just few things. We want to be focused. So what are your takeaways? We'll just say these are the 3 things, or they can be less, 3 or less, that you got from this discussion today. That is number 1. Then number 2, how are you planning to use them to help you heal and make you a better person? And number 3, what else would you like covered, right? So what are the takeaways? How are you going to use them? And number 3 is what else would you like covered in our future talks? Okay, start.
Yep. Thanks. Sunita, you are first in my screen. Would you like to kind of start it out?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. First of all,
Hasmukh, you wanted me to kind of complete the round, like facilitate the round, or
yes, the full thing. Yeah, from the top to the bottom. Not like one, where we ask the other person to nominate a person.
Sure.
Just go straight.
Yep. Yes, Sunita.
okay, firstly, thank you, Hasmukh. That was a wonderful session. I think we know a lot of these things. They come in our everyday lives, and we are attuned to a lot of these, words and phrases. Yay, these are your hormone therapies. These are the things that you need to do. These are the things that will get you into a better phase of life. But you living there in the whole midst and getting out your own stories has made a lot of difference. So I would like to thank you for that. It has been a lovely time. And I love listening to stories. So it has definitely been an eye opener for me. And what are my takeaways? One is that be authentic to yourself is definitely a very good takeaway, because often we try to sideline ourselves and try to see what the world is offering and just follow into the path and just get it done. And by then, your day is over and you have nothing done for yourself. So yeah, being authentic to myself is something that I should be doing from now on. And I don't know how I'll be doing it. I think I'm going to take it slow and steady. I've been doing a lot of things that you have already mentioned. And what would I like more? More such stories and more such talks. Definitely, it's like that's how life keeps going on. The more we interact, the more stories we get to hear, and the more fulfilling our lives will be. I mean, we don't have to really go to the Himalayas to meditate, you have to be in the meditative spirit where you are, in the chaos that is life. So I think only being with like-minded people like you all will, set the change. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunita. Lata, would you like to go next? You are on mute if you are speaking. Lata. No, okay. Usha?
Yeah, sorry, I went on for a long that time. Yeah. Yeah, see, I do keep reading stuff and yeah, all that, but takeaways, yes, I suffer from breathing issues. That's part of my autoimmune whole thing. So yeah, I'll try Wim Hof for sure. And yeah, those four, that quadrants we saw, I'll see how many yeah, how many of, yeah, I can, yeah, I've been doing it but not kind of, yeah, consistently. So yeah, I need to focus more on self-care. So yeah, thank you.
Manas, would you like to?
Yeah. So one thing takeaway that Hasmukh told was people get violent when their needs are not met. I feel I could really see that thing happening with me in context of my relationship with my parents and in how it has come up all this while. So being aware about that and probably trying to get a clarity on certain needs and also takeaways in terms of trying to create some probably some simple reward systems for myself. um, the chart which was shown, one things, if each I can pick from those things and try incorporating while being here. um, that's what I think to include in my lifestyle, and in future I would, if there is a possibility, what Hasmukh was sharing initially, that some more practical things can be shared that I can try bringing out, try practicing and creating a routine in my life will be helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Manas. Sarah, would you like to go next?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. 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 Most of the talks I missed due to network issue. I've been disconnecting many times, but yeah. I was learning since last year about the nature, about the universe. How to heal, and about nature. I mean, about the energy. And from this I learned like to be more like one of the women said, we have to be authentic and not to rush, not to be in the race like others are, or like corporate or the education they try to taught us. So always have to be authentic. So, thank you.
Aishwarya?
Hi Umesh, thank you Hasmukh for this session. Disclaimer is I have already been to the Sapnaranch many times, but yes, so I have heard some of the things that Hasmukh had shared. I'm very grateful that this session was organized. A lot of things that he said came together, and so from a feedback perspective, I think it was a pretty good session. A lot of, as I think many people said, it gets down to actually practicing it, and I think practicing would require actually to not dilly dally or look for some easy solutions. Maybe a visit to the ranch is a good starting point, I feel. Yeah, nothing else from my side. Thank you, Umesh. Thank you, Hasmukh.
Thank you.
Speaking for myself, I have kind of talked to Hasmukh many times, like, and have been to Sapnaranch and have seen him living what he is talking here. So, and so there were some good reminders like going with flows, setting the boundaries, and also talking, about the chemical aspect, like which was something very new to me. So I really enjoyed listening to it again, and it was great kind of fine tuning or a reminder kind of thing that were happening for me. And in terms of what could be added in the next session, I think I have seen Hasmukh going through a lot of physical, also some emotional situations, not emotional, but like the difficult situations living at the ranch. And if you can talk about like how you actually went through the whole of that, and like heal yourself in that context, like, or other people around you or who were part of that, that would be really super to kind of get to know into. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep in mind for the next time. Are we done with the feedback?
Yes. Over to you, Hasmukh.
Yeah. What is the time now?
It's 4:51.
So I think we are close to the finishing time. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for patiently listening, and I hope everybody benefits from this. Even I enjoy getting feedback and learning from it. So over to the next session, which we'll see when it is there, and I will announce it on our forums. Now, only one thing I have is for feedback, we are going to post this video on YouTube that is there, so people who want can listen. And for the people who have signed up for this, okay, I will send some of the collateral, like Memoirs of a Geisha, who wrote that, who's the author of that book, A Century of Self, that documentary, and so on. So people can then listen to those and watch those resources to go forward. Okay.
So are our mobile numbers listed with you? I mean, how are we going to, can we have a WhatsApp group or something of that sort where we continuously share these things?
Yeah. Great. So I will create a WhatsApp group.
Oh, great. That would be fantastic. Because I think this is a growing process. It's not something that's stagnant and it just stops here. If there is something new in anyone's lives, we would love to hear about it,
Yeah. So I'll start the WhatsApp group. It'll be tomorrow. I'll start it tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So we can stop the recording now, Umesh. And thank you.